Hi everyone, welcome to this series of videos where we'll be exploring the chemistry of hydroxy compounds, which includes alcohols and phenols. So firstly, what are alcohols? Alcohols contain a hydroxyl group. So if hypothetically you have an alkane, you replace one of the hydrogen atoms with a hydroxyl group, you'll get an alcohol. So for example, methane is CH4. You replace one of the H's with an OH group, you get methanol, which is the simplest alcohol. The alcohols have a general formula of CnH2n plus 1 OH. Next, we are going to look at how to name alcohols, or the nomenclature. Firstly, when we encounter long alcohols or larger alcohol molecules, there might be ambiguity about the position of the OH group. And for that, we will specify the position of the OH group by inserting an appropriate number between the stem of the name and the OL. So as an example, we'll look at 3 carbon alcohols. If the OH group is attached to the first carbon, we'll call it propan 1-ol. And if the OH group is attached to the second carbon, we will call it propan 2-ol. And these are isomers of each other. So when we choose the parent chain of the alcohol, we always look for the longest chain. But in this case, the longest chain needs to include the carbon atom connected to the hydroxyl group. And as usual, when we are numbering the parent chain, we aim to assign the carbon with the hydroxyl group as small a number as possible. So as an example, we will look at this alcohol molecule. It's also in your notes. So the longest chain that possesses the OH group is here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the longest chain which bears the OH group has 6 carbons, which makes this a derivative of hexane 2-ol. But that is not all. We have a methyl group on carbon 5. So overall the name will be 5-methyl-hexane 2-ol. So we are going to look at exercise 1 now to name the following alcohols. Okay, so the first one is a 2-carbon alcohol. For this, there is no ambiguity. So we know that 2-carbon compounds begin with eth. So this compound will be ethanol. Next, the next compound, the longest chain with the OH is 3 carbons. So it will be a derivative of propanol. There is a methyl group attached to the second carbon. The hydroxyl group is also attached to the second carbon. So this compound will be 2-methyl-propan 2-ol. And the rest of the questions are left for you to try on your own. Next, we are going to look at another way to classify alcohols, which is primary, secondary, and tertiary alcohols. And this classification of alcohols is based on the number of alkyl groups on the carbon to which the hydroxyl group is attached to. And this classification of alcohols is important because different classes of alcohols may undergo different reactions, as you'll see later. So we are going to use these alcohols as an example. So for example, ethanol is a primary alcohol because the C-bearing and OH group has only one other alkyl group attached to it, with the rest being hydrogen atoms. For secondary alcohol, the carbon which bears the OH group has 2 alkyl groups attached to it and only one hydrogen atom. And the tertiary alcohol, the carbon which bears the hydroxyl group has 3 alkyl groups but no hydrogen atoms bonded to it.